Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the series Everything you need to know about Immortal. Today we are going to look at Hammurabi, Empire's lawmaker. I really like this Immortal when he was released. I think it was around 1.5 to 2 years ago. I think it was very interesting. He changed the dynamic of the Lightning March, and today we're going to go through everything about this Immortal and why he is pretty good in the Lightning March. And like always, we have to go through his background and history before we go into the game to see his skills and stats. Hammurabi was the sixth king of the Babylonian dynasty, reigning from 792 to 750 BCE. He is the best known for creating the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest and most comprehensive written legal codes in history. The code consisted of 282 laws that covered various aspects of daily life, including trade, property, family, and criminal justice. Now that we know a little history about Hammurabi, let's go into the game and see how we can get the Immortal. Hammurabi can be obtained via daily deals, the $5 packs, and I think that is probably the best way to get it. Summoning Hall, you can summon, but as always, it's random, so you don't know which one you can get, and it can take way more time than and waste of time basically when you want to max him out. And of course you have Harbor, random immortal fragments, and Triumph cards. The last one, Triumph cards, I don't think it's worth getting him at all because it's quite expensive with gems, and I think if you are new to the game, I think you should use the gems elsewhere. And like always, you need 60 fragments to unlock him and 960 fragments to max him out and unlock the artifact slot. Now let's go take a look at Hammurabi's stats and ultimate skill. The ultimate skill is called the Final Judgment, summons the God of Hammurabi and casts judgment to all enemy units. Basically an AoE, which is a good start. Inflicting magical damage rate 350%. In my opinion, it's quite low, and this is what the special effect about Hammurabi's ultimate. It is every negative effect that enemy units have will cause the damage rate to increase by 15%. That makes him very special because, in my opinion, when Hammurabi was released, I think it was 2 years back, it could have been really strong. But nowadays, I don't think playing around the negative effect is worth it because there are not enough gold skills to accommodate the negative effect. Although the game has released others immortals that will support Hammurabi a lot, and I will come back to that later in this video. First, let's go take a look at these base stats and see how we can read Hammurabi's. As you can see, energy region 66, pretty decent, not the best, but I think it works well if you want to play around Hammurabi. And you can see here the crit rate or crit hit is not that good compared to one of the better mages in the game. But when you want to play around Hammurabi, you want to play him around the magical damage only, right? So let's take a look at magical attack. You can see here is pretty high, one of the better ones actually. If you play around his negative effects, you can certainly add up to approximately 400% altogether, which is pretty decent. But then again, this Immortal would have been good 1.5, maybe 2 years ago, but it's still good and performed today. But I think that with a lot of people are using Theodora, it can counter all the negative effects that Hammurabi needs to proc his ultimate skill damage. So let's take a look in the game. I'm gonna show you guys in the game how it looks like, and let's go from there. Now that we are back into the game and the training camp, one of my favorite places in the game to test out and showcase the ultimate skills of Immortals, today we will be having Tokugawa and Lightning Dragon with us, and hopefully we can showcase everything you need to know here. And you're gonna see Hammurabi's ultimate, pretty decent, and with Tokugawa's ultimate as well, is going to be pretty good. And you can see the energy region is pretty decent, not that great, but not that bad either. It's one of like the normal ones, I would say. And there we go, Hammurabi ultimate. Drop down is a big rock called the Final Judgment. You can see the AoE damage pretty good, and if it's crit, if Hammurabi crits, it's going to be pretty good. And hopefully with the extra negative effect from Tokugawa's ultimate, we're going to see a lot of damage output from Hammurabi's Judgment ultimate. And you can see it's kind of struggle right now, but you know, that's kind of like expected. The reason why it is expected is because Lightning tend to be pretty weak against fire, but never mind that, because this video we're gonna showcase Hammurabi's ultimate, and you can see here pretty decent. The damage is there. Of course, if I add more skills and stuff like that, it would definitely do a lot more, but I didn't do it this time, and I just want to show you guys the ultimate and how it works. And if you have, for example, the immortals like Tokugawa, Louise, and there are some other immortals as well, or you know, it's kind of like a support Hammurabi's ultimate. I will show you guys later in this video as well. Now let's take a look at the artifact of choice for Hammurabi. In my opinion, if I were to have Hammurabi, I would definitely go for the red one, extra magical damage increase instead of the crit one. The reason why is because most of the time, if your lightning is not the main, you won't be using the weakness aura, and then you have only like, you know, decent crit rate, which I don't think you should be playing around in the lightning much. And the artifact passive is the Final Judgment, increased damage bonus to 20% from 15% every one negative effect the enemy has. And like I said, it's very difficult to stack the enemy, sorry, the negative effect due to a lot of people nowadays is using Theodora, basically hard counter to Hammurabi. But if you were to choose one artifact, you could for me the best one is the red one. But if you want a crit one, the yellow one, I think if you have the crit rate on the first stat of the artifact, I think you will do fine, and then you can play around it. But it's not going to, you know, differentiate that much from the red one. Now let's go take a look at Hammurabi's best skills. In my opinion, you should be using concentration for free to play, annihilation, and the last skill should be one of the novas until you manage to unlock Spell Disintegrator or Storm Eye. In my opinion, they are the best skills for the free to play Hammurabi build. However, you can, you know, do a lot of twist and tweak with it. You can, if you want, you can play around his negative effect bonus damage with putting two Novas, the Fire Nova and Toxic Nova in there with concentration, that works as well. But in my opinion, I think you should be using Annihilation, Concentration, and Toxic Nova or Fire Nova as the main three combos as a free-to-play. For the Triss, if you have pay-to-win skills, it's I don't think those improve Hammurabi significantly. I mean, you have Armageddon, which is fine. I think the best one, in my opinion, from my own experience, that I've used him, because I used to main him for 2 years, main Lightning team, I mean, for me, I would probably go for Abundant Spirit and Psionic Tide in this case, because that's how I see that Hammurabi's ultimate can be really, really effective. Also, you have Chaos Storms, that's pretty good as well, but in my opinion, it's good on Lightning March, but not necessarily on Hammurabi. And then you have Corrosive Power, very good mage skills or skill in general, since Hammurabi's ultimate hits AoE damage or do AoD damage. Corrosive Power will benefit from that, and that can proc energy regen increase for Hammurabi, so he can proc his ultimate quite often. Now that we are back into the game, we have to see the compositions of the Lightning teams with the Hammurabi. The most standard one that you are most likely to see around is the Hammurabi, Genghis Khan, El-Cid, and Tokugawa with the double tanks in front. You can sustain much longer, and before a lot of people made Theodora popular in their Earth March or various other marches, I think a lot of people were struggling against Full Lightning. The main weakness I want to say, like towards the Full Lightning, is definitely the Fire March. Due to basically the frontliners are tank, they don't do damage, and when Hippolyta is doing her ultimate, the Flame Arrow, they basically slow down the tanks and they cannot proc their ultimate that much. Also for water teams, it can be like 50-50 or 60-40 water towards lightning, because the main purpose of lightning before and still is today is that to counter earth. If this march will counter earth and hybrid really well, however, it will struggle nowadays when you have something similar to Kimiko and Theodora as a backliner, especially Theodora, because Hammurabi is very dependent on the negative effects to increase damage, and Theodora just cleanse them. And as well as for Genghis Khan Wound, I think, for me, I used to play this march, and I did play this march for 2 years. At one point, or at the beginning of my lightning journey, I had Hammurabi as the main damage dealer, and it worked really well. And then I used Khan as, like the support damage dealer utilizer, where he can take some damage, die first, but also deal AoE damage along the way before he's dying, which is pretty standards before, but nowadays, especially today, Genghis Khan just had his ultimate buff, which is pretty crazy damage, especially if you have artifact as well. Same thing with Hammurabi. I think now basically the role has switched between these two. And if you want to run this march, or you want to run like a lightning march with Hammurabi as the main damage dealer, another thing you can do is also put, where is he? Luis in here. I think now you have like a frontliner where you can support Hammurabi with increasing magical damage and negative effect for Tokugawa, which I think can work. But then again, like a lot of Lightning players have been saying for a very, very long time, you will have to remove Genghis Khan because double damage dealer backliner doesn't work anymore for Khan. Oh, sorry, for Lightning. And another thing you can do, you can definitely play a little bit. This is like towards the higher end of the Lightning. You can use Theodora here, and you can definitely try to. Oh, sorry. You can definitely try to use. There we go. Let me find the immortal. Like this. This is also pretty decent. It can work pretty well. I'm working towards this one. I've heard good things about this kind of march as well, but I think the highest end tier, the highest tier you can get with a lightning march, I would say personally, and you basically keep Hammurabi in the team, you use Fufei and then you use Poseidon in this frontliner, then you have a healer, and you have a tank in Tokugawa with the negative effect, and then you have main damage dealer Hammurabi with AoE damage and stuff like that. And if you have Poseidon as a frontliner, I unfortunately have not unlocked him yet, so you can't see him here. Yeah, I haven't unlocked him yet, so I cannot put him here, but let's pretend that Poseidon is here. Him and his continuous damage will improve Hammurabi's ultimate, which is gonna do a lot of more damage than what he do normally. And this is kind of like the high end lightning march. Another march that you can play around Hammurabi is definitely with, where is this guy? Darius. It works as well, but like I said, if you want to play with Darius, he will become the main damage dealer, and Hammurabi will become like a second damage dealer because I think. And then of course you need Theodora as your support. With Genghis Khan here, I think a lot of people will lean towards Genghis Khan even more, especially with the 3 skills becoming way more available to everyone. So before we do that, let's go take a look. Let's go try it out on Farming Gnomes. I can show you guys some teams in Arena as well. And in my opinion, it should look something like this. I think a lot of people are not using Lightning as main march anymore. I know one person and she's pretty good with Lightning, but nowadays she mixed her Lightning to something like this with Theodora. I think it's really needed because of the you need support for the Lightning Immortals, especially Genghis Khan, and if you do, you can run something like this march. But as you can see, a lot of people that has Lightning as the second damage dealer, they tend to move away from Hammurabi. There are some certain people with Hammurabi as well, and this one is one of the better ones that have full lightning in there. You have somebody called Mr. President, if he's showing up, and I'll show him as well. And you have this one, pretty decent one. Like normally nowadays, I think there are only 2 or 3 players left that is still main Lightning March with Hammurabi in it, but a lot of people tend to, move away from Hammurabi, and some people probably replace Hammurabi with Himiko. It has been working pretty well so far for a lot of people. So, in my opinion, if you want to use Hammurabi, you can use him as early game, mid game, and then you should be looking to transition to either Theodora or Himiko during the Sparks of Galaxy event. So you can do that, and this March used to be really strong. I don't know if I have any reports that I've set up. I don't think so, but let's take a look. If you want to farm with this March, keep in mind though the STP is like overinflated because of the dragon being maxed out. But if you're working towards there, lightning is very good towards like against earth, against mixed mod, the hybrid march, against those march that have healing. They're pretty good, but it's not that popular anymore because of the availability of the earth mixed march. And the thing is, the reason why you should have Theodora is because if you don't, even though lightning counters earth, if earth has Theodora, it will win against the full lightning. Yeah, I got my mind blank for a minute because I forgot what I'm going to say. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I think Hammurabi is pretty good for early and the mid game, but you should be looking to transition him to maybe Himiko or maybe a Theodora for your lightning. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Have a good day, guys.